Good day, everyone, and welcome to our new features webinar. Hope everyone is having a good day so far. I know I am. New releases always make me happy. It lets me showcase all the hard work our developers have put into the tool and the testing that is done to get to this point. Speaking of testing, we are user-driven, meaning we listen. In every release, there are features, fixes, and new artifacts at the request of our users. Along with our day-to-day interaction with you, we have a program for super users where they have a seat at the table with our development team. Feedback is requested, new ideas are considered, and they also have access to early release candidates for real-world testing and other perks that make this a great program. If you consider yourself an ADF super user, want to be part of this program, please reach out. We're always looking to bring others onto that team. At ADF, we are mission-driven. We are delighted to serve those who serve, and some of our most exciting times are when we are adding new features and capabilities, when we learn how they are being used, and of course, launch day, when the new features are released. Hope you love what we have created. I'm your host, Rich Frawley, and I'm the Director of Training with ADF Solutions. I appreciate you joining us today as we take a look at the new release and a demonstration of some of the new features. I came to ADF Solutions after my 23-year career in law enforcement, 17 of those years as a forensic examiner and investigator assigned to the computer crime unit. If nothing else in my career, I learned the value of triage and reducing backlog. Coming from a one-man shop that assisted and supported many other departments, I can quickly be inundated with devices if I didn't institute a plan to triage and try to stop the deluge of devices up front. Everyone wants an answer sooner rather than later, and triage gives you that ability to give an answer. It's a route forward, a place to continue on from. It also allows us to get case-specific on scene, call out the important data relevant to what you're working on. Not only that, ADF also bring you to case completion on those cases where you know what you need. Case completion in a day rather than weeks or months. As a company, we are focused on solutions. It's even in our name. You're trying to solve investigations. We're focused on developing technology solutions that'll help you do your job faster with a primary focus of helping you protect victims. That's why we're all here today. As a company, ADF has been around for over 19 years with its technological foundations rooted in forensic triage. Our early years were spent creating software specifically for image identification and analysis for child exploitation. Government agencies, law enforcement being the main drivers asking for this technology. Our immediate value was as a triage tool. It was in providing on-scene intelligence and capture of that potential evidentiary information. And it's since morphed into solutions that are easier for investigators and helping reduce case backlog. What has transpired over the years has been an evolution of our technology to not merely include support for hundreds of files and artifacts, but a better way to link all that information quicker than any other solution on the market. The theme has remained consistent in our mission statement. Help investigators and examiners get to the relevant information faster. And today, among all the additions, we bolster our ability to deal with consent and victims and witnesses, gathering what you need to bring a case to successful conclusion, maintaining a chain of custody, and gathering evidence that might otherwise have walked out the door to never be seen again. For those of you who use MDI only or DEI only, there are plenty of features for both. And if you have Pro with both, everything is for you today. All right, let's get into some of the new features here. So just going to go over a quick list, and then I'm going to demo some of these. Be a quick webinar, and you'll be up to date on where we are with all our latest additions. So the first I really like, it's a selecting and tagging setting. When you are going through your galleries and you're selecting everything that you want to later tag, you had to keep in mind what was selected and what was tagged and kind of manage that. But now we've got a setting in there we're going to show you that really helps that out. We've added a load file. So when you are using Mobile Device Investigator or Mobile Device Collector, and you're creating an acquisition, it will also create a load file for import into those systems that use that. I'm not going to demo that, just know that that's there and can be used. We're handling your Project Vic and your CADE imports a little bit differently. I'm going to show you that. In the auto tag and commenting section, so if you used to pull in your Project Vic, or if you pointed towards a folder that had some items that you wanted to automatically tag or comment, or if you had some keywords that you needed to automatically tag and comment, you'd be able to do that. Well, now we've added a little bit more to that to help you out. Exporting those import errors. So if you were bringing in a hash list that had, thousands or millions of hashes or keywords, a couple thousand keywords, and there were duplicates or something wasn't formatted right, those errors would go by quick and they were difficult to see, and you'd have to go find the logging in order to get that information. So now, when that happens, you can export a list so you can then go back and fix that list and see where the errors may have been. This is another big one. Save this for the top of the second page for you. So people that have consultancies or private, you have your own private firm, or you're working for a consultancy or freelancing, a lot of the questions I used to get is, hey, I have an iTunes backup that was given to me. Can you scan it? And the answer was yes, there was a way to do that. But now they were getting the encrypted iTunes backups, and they needed a way to get access to those. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to load up an encrypted iTunes backup for you here. We've enhanced the identification of HEIC, HEIF, and HEVC files. You'll see that seamlessly within the program. So again, something I'm not really going to demo. The identification of Opus and CAF files. That has been added. Now with this, we add that, right? We give you the ability to identify these by header analysis and by a file extension. But you can also, when these files come out and they're brand new, you don't have to wait for us to add these. We added them. Now they're part of the program. You don't have to worry about it. But prior to that, we do give you the ability within the tool to add files by their header or their file extension. Another big one was reference files. So when we find a file and we link it to another artifact, we were making you go through and hit the link to that file to actually see what it was. Now we contain thumbnails where that is. I'm going to show you that. And at times you come across some files, maybe some image. This happens a lot in our image gallery. Photo can't be processed, or it's actually a file that says it's a photo, but there's nothing there. So when we go to print the thumbnail for it, we tell you that it's a preview can't be created, right? So what we've given you the ability to do now is filter those out of your view so you can do your analysis. And then you can go back and filter those back in and only have those in if you want to go through and check quick, see what those were. So great, some additions. Let me get into showing you what we have now. The tagging, right? So I mentioned that there's a new setting. If I go into my pictures gallery, and as usual, we have the ones that are automatically tagged in here. We have the matches. That's that little round magnifying glass in the upper right hand corner, indicates that it's a hash hit or a keyword hit, right? So it's a match on a keyword or a hash value. So as you're coming through here, these are already tagged, and maybe I'm rolling through, and then I get down and you can see there's a bunch of dogs here, but I want to get a little farther. So I have these. And we used to go through, now I want to check these first four, right? I select these, and then I would tag them as, let's say, a number 2. You can see those are all tagged in gold now. And I have the setting now. You can see since I tagged those, it deselected those. So over on the right-hand function toolbar, automatically uncheck selected records after tag assignment. So let me just go back here. and show you the opposite, what it used to be. So I'm going to deselect. So those are 2. Now let me put a 4 on there, right? You can see they're still selected. I used to have to come over here and either go back and deselect those or select all, deselect all, and now I can move on with what I want to do. So new setting. So I'm going to pick the next ones here. I select what I want to be tagged. When I tag those, you can see I tagged those with a level 2, and now they are deselected as soon as I hit that. So really great solve of a frustration point during the analysis. We made it even easier, nice and smooth now. So remember that settings there, right hand function toolbar, just select that and that will happen for you. Great addition. Okay, now let's get into some of the imports. I said with auto tag and comments for keyword lists and hashes. So when you're preparing your own search profile, when you're creating your own search profile, and I come over here, there's my new captures. We have a way, and maybe some of you hadn't seen this yet. You don't have to go there. You can go to manage captures. You can create captures first and then create a search profile later. Or where this really comes in handy is I can create a bunch of captures that maybe, I know I'm going to need in the field, but I can prepare a collection key to take out into the field with just captures on it, right? So now I have these that I can pick from. But let me come in here. I have some captures. I want to add a hash set. I'm going to add a VIX hash set, and I just have a little demo one in here. So I'm going to go to search for files by hash value, right? And I'm going to add my VIX. And let me get to where that is. Let me get to where that is. My training, DEI online, K9. All right, so I have a VIX file here, and I'm going to bring that in. So here's what's new. It used to just load it all up, right? Now it's saying, hey, here's your categories. This is a VIX file, and it's either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Child abuse material, non-child abuse, age difficult, that's your child exploitation material. Child exploitative, that's the CGI and anime, all that stuff. So you know your categories. You don't need me here listing them off. But now if I just want to bring in category 1, right? I'm going on a triage. I don't need everything. Just give me 1 and 2 or something like that. And then I could add comments if I want, or include the comments that is already in the VIX database, and then you would hit import and it would only bring in those cats for you. All right, so really good, help you streamline there, especially if you're going out and doing triages. That was the problem. You want to bring out your VIX, but you don't want to bring it all. This now helps you do that. As far as adding files, if we used to go in and point towards, and I'm going to show you how this worked. If I had my own images, I would point it to the folder and it would automatically say, yeah, there's files in here. Do you want to automatically tag these, or do you want to automatically comment? You all love that. Cyber tips come in, you know what it is. You automatically want to tag it, saves you a lot of problem at the end. What we weren't doing is when we had a list, now let me go back here, training. Right, so now I have a list of hashes. It's just a text list or a CSV list. And I want to bring that in. I open it. Now that's giving me the ability to do that before. It used to be if it was a list, if it was a text list or a CSV list, it would only auto tag and auto comment if you had those columns filled out already. Now it's giving you the choice. Hey, I'm bringing in this new list of keywords. Do I want to tag any of these, or do I want to auto comment on them? Now, a lot of times with keywords, you may not, because the list is too big. You might want to do it, individually, but we have that. It's been asked for, and we have given that to you. Now, here's one of the other things that I was talking about. You can see there's 3 errors, right, on here, and they were probably duplicates. It may even say that. But now I can export this list. All I need to do is hit this and save it as a text file, and a list of all those errors will be saved to your desktop. So now you can go back and fix what may be wrong in that list. All right, so that was another save there. And with keywords, I just did hashes. Again, that import list. If I go back to the desktop, K9, unique keywords, open. Well, this one I already had set, so it's really not going to do that again. You can see I already had an auto tag, auto comment line, so that was automatically filled out. If those columns weren't there, it would have done just as I did with hashes. It would have asked me if I wanted to add anything to that, or add comments or automatically tag. So we give you that ability now, both in keywords and hash lists, where you're bringing in your own list. All right, so I went over those a few quick. Selecting and tagging setting, the VIX and CADE imports, the auto tags, the export errors. Okay, next, this is one I said I really liked. I had a couple of people asking for this, more than a couple, and I was glad that I was able to work with the development team, get them to see the importance of this and add it, and they did it really quick for us. So if I go into scan now, and we've done acquisitions, we break them down into the different acquisitions that you would have made. So ADF Android, we did it with our tool. ADF iOS, ADF Chrome, iTunes backup, right? And then you can see we have gray key and UFED images that you could bring in below. The iTunes backup is new. I saved one here, so there's my MDI backups. This one up here is the encrypted iTunes backup. So this is where that encryption part comes in, right? They had to put a password on it. So I can enter my password here, proceed. It will decrypt and load up that iTunes backup, so you can now parse it out and scan it. And again, you can run anything against it that you want. Any of your custom search profiles, any of your captures, you have that ability. So there it is, and you can see it's got the iTunes icon there, and it's all loaded up and ready to go. So for those of you who've been wanting that, there it is. HEIC, HEIF, he had no issues there. Referenced files. This is another one that we've been really wanting to get you. All right, so with this and linked artifacts, I'm just going to go into my pictures gallery here. I'm going to go to filter. I'm going to look for my linked artifacts. And this one's messages, which is a really good one to show this with. I'm going to hit apply. So here's the 18 pictures that have been sent in messages, right? That's the link to it. So this picture is part of the artifact message, and it's going to bring me to that exact record when I click on that picture down here, linked artifacts, select it. I'm in messages. So now that I'm in messages, you can see here the attachment preview. This is the one I was actually on, and there's the picture, right? So this preview wasn't there before. It used to be a link to take you to that to go see what it was. So now you can see real fast here what the picture is as you're scrolling through. There they are. There's another one. And then I can actually take that to the linked file if need be. There and there. And I can come back here into my gallery. Okay, so I've come into these results here, and you can see we also have the referenced files under documents. And this is the list of all the reference files from throughout the whole case. So I can come in here, you know, the ones that are recent file entries aren't necessarily going to have the preview, but you can see over on this side that the preview is there. Turn off my classifier here for a second. There we go. So you can see now we have the preview in here. So you can see what those files are. All right, and you can see I hover over it and it gets a little bigger there for me as well. So including the thumbnails in the reference files, not only in the reference file capture, but in the messages. It shows you what the picture is, or from the gallery taking it to the messages, you'd be able to see that as well. Now, I don't know if I have any in here. Filter. Yep, here we go. So I want to see the ones where previews were not created. And this is what I'm talking about. When something is that preview, that thumbnail was not have the ability to be created, this gives you the ability now to go in and filter down to those and see if it's something you may have missed, or like this is just a cursor file and it wasn't able either by size or something like that to make that preview. So now you can filter those in or you can filter those out. So that's another great one. So selecting and tagging, load file, that comes off as part of the acquisition. If it's made with MDI or MDC, we did the VixCade, we did the auto tag and the auto comment, deselecting, import, export, iTunes, and again, some of the identification of the files. Now, I mentioned before Opus and CAF files, so we have support for those now. When you are creating your own search profiles, if I go into Manage Search Profiles, and let me just go and edit any one of these. Next. So when you're in this section, when you're defining your files that you either want to collect or search for, you have these categories. And under pictures, you can see all the different picture types we have. An internal definition, that's the header byte sequence. And when it says that, it means it's baked right in there. So you have the ability here to add your own file type. You can put in the type of file it is, the file extension, and the header information, and then you'll be able to search for those files on your own. Let us know, hey, this is a new file. We really want it to be part of the program. You know, if we haven't added it already, it will be in our next release. We'll get it in there for you and update that so the support is there automatically. So that's what that is. Let me step out of here for a second and come back into here, do the slideshow. Let me go back up to training frames. There we go. Okay, so we've done all this. Release notes. They are in the program for the version that you are. All the new release notes would be in there under user guides, or you can find them online at adfsolutions.com/product user guides. So it's always available there online for you, and also in the tool. And in case you don't have access to the tool, maybe you're at the installation stage, right? So the guides are there online. Online training, we have mobile, 8 hours, about 8 hours. We have computer, which is about 16 hours. And when you combine the two for DEI Pro, it's about 20 hours to go through the training. We also can come out and do that in person. It's usually classes of 12. We will do less and we can do more. All depends on your situation, but definitely get in touch with us for that. Any questions? We have a lot of support, so free videos online. If you're looking to do something specific, hey, Rich taught me how to do this and I forgot. Go online, look for the how-to videos. We have short videos there to help you as you get along. We have our knowledge base, support at adfsolutions.com. Best way to get support, it goes to the whole team. Somebody will be getting back to you, toot sweet. And then we have news online there. So that's it. Nice, short, sweet. The new features. It's a little late, this webinar. Hopefully you've been using it, but this actually now will focus in and let you know what's in there for you. And as I said, we're always adding things that you have asked for. So that's it for today. I'm glad you hung around. I know everybody's got choices on what they could do. You chose to be here. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.